Perhaps one of the most important figures in Islamic history, aside from Prophet Muhammad, is the Lion of Allah, or the Chief of Martyrs. He is the uncle of Prophet Muhammad. For some, he is the Master General of Islam, but for some, he is the bravest man in the early Islam phase. But who truly is Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib? Before diving into the profound significance of Hamza's legacy, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this story. By doing so, you'll not only support our efforts to illuminate the legacy of Hamza and the companions of the Prophet, but also help spread this invaluable knowledge to a broader audience. He is born to Abd al-Muttalib ibn Hashim ibn Abd Manaf ibn Qusay from the tribe of Quraysh. He is the uncle of the Prophet through the Prophet's mother, Amina bint Wahb, who is the first cousin of Hamza's mother, Wahib ibn Abd Manaf bin Zuhra. The relationship between the Prophet and Hamza is not only drawn by being uncle-nephew, but also by being brothers who were fed by a single woman, a slave of Hamza's father. It was said that Hamza was born 2 years earlier than the Prophet Muhammad. When the Prophet started to preach the message from Allah, Hamza was not the first to respond to the call. It's known that prior to his acceptance of Islam, it was known to his journeys of hunting, and it was seldom for him to stay in the tribe's abode, but he would go to the desert to hunt. Upon returning to Mecca, after a hunting trip in the desert, he heard that Amr ibn Hisham, referred to in Islamic scriptures as Abu Jahl, father of ignorance, had insulted the Prophet Muhammad, speaking spitefully of Islam and trying to bring him into disrepute. The Prophet Muhammad had not replied to him. Filled with rage, Hamza went out on a run to punish Abu Hisham when he met him. He entered the Kaaba, where Abu Hisham was sitting with the elders, stood over him, and struck him a violent blow with his bow. Hamza said, "Will you insult him when I am of his religion and say what he says? Hit me back if you can." He struck Abu Jahl's head with a blow that cut open his head. Some of Abu Hisham's relatives approached to help him, but he told them, "Leave Hamza alone, for by God, I insulted his nephew deeply." After that incident, Hamza entered the house of Al-Arkam and accepted Islam. Hamza's Islam was complete, and he followed Islam's commands afterward. When he became a Muslim, the Quraysh recognized that Islam had become strong, and the Prophet Muhammad had found a new protector in Hamza, and so they abandoned some of their ways of harassing him. Instead, they tried to strike bargains with him, but he did not accept their offers. He truly started being a great part of protecting the message and spreading Islam to other tribes and regions. The relationship between him and the Prophet also grew closer than ever, for Hamza was considered the main guard of the Prophet and his most trusted man in times of war. After he embraced Islam, Hamza became a prominent figure in the religion. His foremost concern was the way Muslims were worshipping Allah. Hamza once asked the Prophet why they were hiding and worshipping Allah in secret. He then created a group and encouraged the entire Muslims to march out in the open and worship Allah in the open. It was a turning point of Islam, becoming a widely embraced religion in the region, and even until today, with thousands returning to Islam after being deceived by other religions. It is known that Hamza led the raid on Quraysh caravan, which is also considered as the expedition of Sif al-Bahr. The first raid was a success, for other leader of the region intervened and stopped Hamza from spoiling the caravan of Quraysh, led by Abu Jahl. But the next exploits of Hamza were successful, and it was the start when the Quraysh looked forward to assassinating him and thereby stopping the spread of Islam. It was in the day of Badr, at the Battle of Uhud, that Hamza's valiantly became more famous. He was adorned with a feather of an ostrich, and he fought as the most effective horseman in the battle, and he killed several chiefs of the Quraysh. In fact, he was one of the men who masterminded the death of Utbah bin Rabi'ah and Tu'aymah bin Adi bin Nawfal. It was said that when one of the chiefs of the Quraysh tribe was taken captive, he referred to Hamza as the man who had inflicted too much damage to their groups than any other. Due to his valor on the battlefield, Hamza gained too much prominence among Muslims, and even the Prophet said of him as his own brother. He was considered one of the swords of Allah, being the sword in the era of the Prophet. Hamza became an important part of the council for the community, and he did everything to protect the Prophet from harm. It was also through him that many non-believers and polytheists were killed in the battles, because they didn't want to accept the truth of Allah as the only one God and Muhammad as the Prophet. One day, the companions camped in al-Madinah. The Prophet asked them to stay in al-Madinah as Allah did not command them to meet the enemy. It must be noted that by this time, the Quraysh people were looking forward to taking revenge of what had happened to their tribes and leaders. Yet, with the advice of the Prophet, several young men requested that they meet the enemies and fight them. At first, the Prophet was reluctant, but after the pleading of the army leaders, such as Hamza, he allowed them to meet the enemies. In fact, it was in this pleading that Hamza said, "By Allah, who has sent the book down unto you, I will not taste food till I fight them with my sword outside Medina." So during the Battle of Uhud, the Prophet donned his armor and was ready to join the battle. The plan was to crush the enemy outside the city of Uhud. When Hamza and his men met the enemies, he fought with all his energy, and he even killed several Quraysh. They were winning the battle, and the enemies were already retreating, but due to the disobedience of the archers at the top of the mountain, those who were ordered by the Prophet to remain at the top of the mountain even if they saw that the battle had ended and that the Muslims were taking the spoils, not to withdraw from their positions. But when the archers saw the polytheists fleeing from the battlefield, they descended from the top of the mountain and were surrounded by the cavalry of Khalid ibn al-Walid, who had not yet converted to Islam at that time, and the group weakened. The Prophet was fighting as well, and he was advancing, but in this battle, Hamza was killed. It is noted that the death of Hamza was out of deception and treachery. There was a woman whose father and brothers were killed in the battle in Badr, and the woman wanted revenge. She ordered a slave to kill Hamza with a spear with the reward of freedom. Washi ibn Harb, the assassin of Hamza, later embraced Islam. But during the battle, Washi did not aim to kill anybody, save Hamza. He waited for a timing and an opportunity that would give him the advantage to kill a great warrior. For if Washi attacked Hamza earlier, he could have been killed by Hamza. In the hot spot of the battle, Hamza was able to maneuver and kill several Quraysh leaders, but he fell into a ditch. It was the timing that Washi had been waiting for. With the stomach of Hamza in seen vulnerability and with the realization that Hamza won't be able to move faster in the ditch, Washi threw the spear toward Hamza. The spear pierced the navel of Hamza toward his legs. It was a tragic end for a great military general of the Prophet. When the Prophet knew of the death of Hamza, he was struck in pain, for he found the mutilation of Hamza unbearable. In fact, the Prophet said, "The chief of the martyrs with Allah on the day of resurrection is Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib." It was a moment of grief for the Prophet because it was the loss of a brother, an uncle, and a great protector who provided him the safety and care when the spreading of the message was still kept in secret for fear of the people of Makkah. During the funeral, the Prophet led the prayer for Hamza. It was a silent one, and it was a day of mourning, but Hamza left lasting legacies that until today can still be seen. Of course, the people were thankful for what he did for Islam, but Hamza left lessons worth to remember. First, it taught the lesson of fighting for the right cause. Hamza fought with all his might to protect the Prophet and the spreading of the message of Allah, even until his last breath. It was a testament of commitment to endure hardship and pain for the sake of what is right. Second, Hamza left a legacy of valor. It is time for Muslims to stand up to their religion and do what's best. The faith must not be kept secret, but must be spread abroad. There is no time for a Muslim to tarry in thinking, for there are still many people who haven't heard of the message and are still kept in the bondage of other religions. Indeed, Hamza is the Lion of Allah. As we wrap up our homage to Hamza, we extend an invitation for you to bolster our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing his narrative with your loved ones. Additionally, stay tuned for our forthcoming episode, spotlighting another esteemed companion of the Prophet Muhammad. Your engagement will help us reach more people with the stories of the companions of the Prophet. And why not help people around the world see the truth they seek in Islam and embrace it? When they hear about the legacies of the Prophet's companions, the true role models Muslims follow. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey, and we eagerly anticipate your ongoing support.